The start of the new year brings a lot of pressure. Pressure to fix everything, do more, be better, and somehow come up with a brand new version of yourself at the stroke of midnight. And for many military families and other people who feel financially or personally behind, that pressure can feel overwhelming instead of motivating. In this episode, I want to share a more straightforward approach to goals, one that I personally use, especially as I'm starting off 2026. It's not about doing more, it's about creating space, trusting your gut, you, and taking steady action on the things that will actually bring you peace and joy this year. So here we go. You do not need to do it all. There's so much information out there about how to improve your life. There's podcasts, there's books, social media challenges, just social media in general, and apps. It can really start to feel like if you're not doing everything, that you're doing something wrong, which is not the case. Here is what I have learned, and I'm still learning this myself, so definitely don't have it perfect, but it's that simplicity is where mountains really get moved. And it's not because simple is easy, but it's because simple is doable. Consistent effort on a few meaningful things will always beat scattered effort on everything. So creating space by saying no. One of the biggest lessons for me in 2025 was realizing that I had said yes to too many things. And if I'm being honest, and you've been following the show for a while, it's been a repeating problem for sure the past few years. But in my defense, it's for good and meaningful things. They've been opportunities I was grateful for and therefore don't want to pass up. But at the same point this year, I hit a wall. Absolutely. Decision making felt hard to the point where I was almost frozen. Some of the simplest decisions that should have been quick took weeks or months to make. I had no time to really think about it. There was just too much to process. Also, zero time to process what had already happened or the things that I had accomplished. Or celebrating my wins definitely was not happening. My creativity and planning started to really suffer too. So it sounds counterintuitive, but the more I simplify and create space, the more I'm able to do things, a lot of things, and to do them faster. So one of the first things that I'm doing at the start of this year is removing what's draining my time and energy, but not helping me reach my goals or that bring me joy and peace. I've really leaned into this rule that I've mentioned on the show before, and that is if it's not a hell yes, it is definitely a no. If I open an email and my immediate response or my gut instinct isn't a yes, then it's a no. If I have to talk myself into something instead of being able to say yes right away, it's a no. If I'm on the fence about something, it's a no. If it takes away from or distracts me from goals that I have, it's a no. So saying no isn't shutting doors or not pursuing opportunities. It's protecting the room you need to breathe and follow opportunities that help you reach your goals. Next thing is my philosophy. It is eat first. This is an idea that became a little bit of a theme for me, and it's to eat first. I know it sounds selfish, especially in the military culture. We're taught leaders eat last, parents eat last, everyone else comes first, but hear me out. If I or you do not take care of yourself, everything else starts to fall apart. When I say eat first, I mean this. Each day I try to feed myself before feeding everything else. Because the further it gets into the day, if you haven't done the things you need to do for yourself, you start to give away that time to other people. So for me, it looks like doing something spiritual, something physical, and something creative early in my day. Often it's before the rest of my family has even woken up. I read that somewhere. That's a good habit to get into, those three things. But in general, just feeding yourself first, it could mean something different for you. So it doesn't mean that when I say that I'm doing it, it's not perfect and I'm not doing it for hours at a time. Sometimes it's 10 minutes. Sometimes it's just stepping outside for sunshine or reading or writing a couple of paragraphs, doing a couple of push-ups, some squats, something like that. When I don't do this and try to give everything to everybody else first, I don't have the energy and the clarity to work towards my goals, to run my businesses, or be the kind of mom or human being that I want to be. It makes me stronger so that I'm able to help others and accomplish all that I want to. So by eating first, I'm able to do more. So feeding yourself isn't selfish. We all know we have to put our oxygen mask on first, or we won't have the life or energy to be there for other people. But sometimes we forget that, or it's easier to let ourselves down than it is to let others down. But this is your reminder. Don't cut off your own food supply. Feeding yourself is how you sustain the work you're called to do personally and professionally. Okay, next thing is to pick 2 things. Instead of doing a very, very long list of resolutions, I'm asking myself and kindly encouraging you to do the same, is to pick 2 things to focus on in 2026 or any year. 2 things you've been avoiding, 2 things that cause you stress when you think about them, 2 things that if you handled them right now would bring you some peace. That's it. Not 10 things, not even 5 things. When we overload ourselves, we freeze, and then nothing gets done. When there are many things, it's harder to make a decision. Fewer things make decision making easier. So picking 2 things can really help you actually accomplish them. The next thing is break down the mountain. Once you know your 2 things, the goal isn't to tackle the entire mountain all at once. That won't work. When you build a fire, you don't grab a whole tree and try to light it. No, you build up a fire with small actions like kindling and adding a little stick or more wood at a time, not all at once. Same things for your goals. You break it down into sections that you can actually climb. I have an example using debt reduction as the goal. So if your goal is to pay off $20,000 in debt this year, thinking about paying off $20,000 feels almost impossible. But breaking it down changes everything. So maybe what if the first step is you selling some unused items and you knock off $1,000 right away? Now you're down to $19,000. That comes out to about $1,583 per month to pay off the remaining debt in the year. Next, look at reducing expenses. You could cancel some subscriptions and get really honest with yourself about eating out. You could adjust your grocery spending to save money by using coupons or buying on sale. Sometimes I even save money by buying my groceries online for pickup using Rakuten so that I can get cash back. 1% isn't a lot, but 1% is still 1% cash back when I spend $100 or $200 on groceries. That helps reduce my grocery costs. If you haven't used it before, there will be a link in the website show notes. It's free. You just need to set it up, but it can save you money that you could put towards your debt. If you can reduce expenses other than groceries by maybe like $500 a month, you now only need to come up with about $1,083 a month, which still seems like a lot. But if you break that down weekly, then break that down hourly, and all of a sudden, something that felt overwhelming becomes manageable. You could find a side hustle to make up the rest of that difference to reach your goal of paying off $20,000 of debt in a year. And this breaking down the mountain applies to anything from your finances to your health, to your career changes, getting your house cleaned and organized. Small, steady actions are what really moves the mountain. Again, simple doesn't mean that it's necessarily easy, but it's doable. The next thing is to trust your gut. I want to say this kind of end things is that you should trust your gut. Ask yourself, if I accomplish just one thing this year, what would bring me peace and joy? That's the thing worth pursuing, not what social media says or what everybody else is doing or what sounds impressive. Simple doesn't mean simple results. It means focused, consistent effort on what matters most to you, which will get you the results that you want, whether that's big or small. So you have to trust your gut when it comes to picking your goals and the actions that you take. All right, now I want to wrap it up. You don't need a new year to start. It can be January 7th or it can be December 1st. The date doesn't matter. You just need to be ready. And when you are, start small, create space in your life, feed yourself first, pick 2 things instead of a bunch of things, and take action. Nothing will be perfect, but an 80% solution is better than no action at all. So don't be scared to get after whatever it is that you are trying to accomplish. Again, what is in your gut to do? Things will smooth out and get close to perfect as you get going. You just have to take small steps. That's how real change happens. So here is a little toast that ChatGPT and I collaborated on to wish you the best year. So here it is. Here's to 2026. May it be filled with small, steady actions that bring you peace. Not pressure, not perfection, just progress that feels good in your life this year and beyond. So I think we nailed it. I wish you the best and most happy new year.